Make this video the last stop you need to fix your shoulder issue. Instead of searching for a ton of different things to do, focus on the principles and the strategies that I go over in this video to fix your shoulder. What's up guys, Dr. Nick Bonforte here. In today's video, we are gonna go all over the shoulder complex, specifically targeting this from a mobility standpoint. There's other regions we have to focus on like strength, motor control, but we're gonna focus on mobility and give you the nuances that you cannot miss that you need to hit the shoulder with strategically so that you can make some gains. There are also other areas you have to focus on when addressing the shoulder, like the thoracic spine. But this video is gonna be really trying to focus on the shoulder mobility in itself so that you can focus on one thing and then move on to the next thing. Because when there's too many things to do, we get lost in the shuffle. So let's start simple and then build off of that. So this exercise, we're targeting the pec minor fibers of the pec region. Typically, this gets short and stiff and it manipulates the scapula because it has attachments to the scapula. This is important because we need to tilt the scapula backwards for overhead mobility, which gets restricted. So with this, we're setting up biasing the pec muscle minor in this arm position. Now the keys with this is not just holding the stretch for a random amount of time. The idea with this is we're building positional isometrics within this exercise. I'm in a stretch position. We could hold that stretch as an example for 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds is done, we want to push down into whatever object we're using for 10 seconds and build up an isometric contraction where you feel your chest muscle working. Then after that contraction, we then want to lift away and use the back muscles, pull ourselves into a deeper range of motion for 10 seconds. Then place your hand back into the supporting object and then go further into the stretch. That's the principle and the concepts that you want to understand throughout that. You get yourself in a stretch position. One, you hold it for a stretch, 30 seconds. Then you do a contraction down for 10 seconds, and then you peel away for 10 seconds. That sequence should be repeated about 4 times. Why? Because you get enough input into the system and you're getting into different ranges of motion, teaching the body how to control those ranges of motion with isometrics. That will be a good foundational starting point for you so that you can get your body used to adaptation in a lengthening position. Now, when you're in that position, you want to try to search for the most restricted area for you. As an example, if you're in that position and you lean forward, you feel not a stretch at all, try to turn your body away to increase the stretch. Manipulate your body where you feel the most stretch, and then you perform the concepts of the stretch and then the contract, relax sensation of the actual technique throughout this. So the idea is to stretch the back of the shoulder, which gets restricted and tight. So you're gonna pull your arm across your body. So you hold the stretch period where it's pinned down for 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds, you wanna build isometric pressure into the supporting hand. So I'm holding, then I'm pushing into my supporting hand as an isometric, trying to bring my arm this way. And you hold, and then after the contraction of 10 seconds, you relax. You pull your arm further across your body. Once it's further into the range of motion, pull your shoulder blade back and down to increase that stretch emphasis. The idea with that is you want to create that relative motion between the shoulder blade and the arm bone to effectively stretch the back of the shoulder. Now with the crossbody stretch, it is very important to make sure you're understanding concepts with this. So the idea is to stretch the back of the shoulder, which gets restricted and tight. So you're gonna pull your arm across your body. Then the most important thing is when your arm is across your body, you wanna squeeze your shoulder blade back as hard as you can and maintain that position between the shoulder blade and the arm bone. That is gonna create that relative motion that you need to actually stretch this area that you're doing. If you just pull it along for the ride, you're not gonna feel anything. You're gonna think it's ineffective, it's not working, because you're doing it wrong. Pull it across and then squeeze your shoulder blade back and you hold it there. That will increase this. If you don't feel it there, try to move your arm in space to feel it in a different position. But if you do it right with the shoulder blade pinned down backwards and you pull your arm across your body and pin down the shoulder blade, you'll feel it in that area. So with this one, we wanna make sure we're holding some weight that we can control, but the thumbs are facing up. You're on your back, you bring your knees all the way to your chest so that you can lock out your low back and not compensate there. You keep your arms locked out straight, and then you raise your arms over your head in a controlled fashion, trying to think about using the sides of your lat muscles to do the motion. At the end position of where you can control, hold it for a little bit, and then you come back to the start position and you repeat. What you're doing here is putting eccentric load through the lat muscle, which ultimately improves the sarcophagus sarcomeres in series, which at a level of the muscular tissue improves the length of the actual muscle tissue when you eccentrically load it. But remember, we don't just jump to this one because this position is typically restricted in mobility at the shoulder. So we use those first two to loosen up everything that's around the shoulder, like the shoulder blade, the back of the capsule of the shoulder, so that we can actually function overhead better. And then we work on eccentric control with this type of exercise. So I'm on my side and I'm using the weight to slowly control my arm down past my midline. So imagine if you're looking at me on the side, I'm passing my arm like this and I'm not letting my shoulder blade come all the way through the ride. You wanna try to keep it pinned down, as you could tell, and I'm just moving through here, working all of this side eccentrically. You'll feel your shoulder burning. Now you don't wanna just drop it down and go really fast. You wanna put it under some load and control. So you're emphasizing that motion without letting the shoulder blade come along for the ride, and you'll really feel that side working. This is important from a control factor because when we get into new ranges of motion that we opened up from the stretches, we're then teaching the body how to lengthen in those positions under control, which ultimately improves our flexibility. So there you go. Those are 4 exercises you could really focus on. And you might be thinking, well, that's not enough. Well, that's kind of like the problem. We try to do too many things and there's not enough volume to the things that we need, and then we don't get any results. Those are very good strategic exercises to target areas of the shoulder complex that are typically limited. 1, the pec region, the pec minor, that has effects on the shoulder blade, and then 2, the posterior capsule of the shoulder. And we also hit the lat. All of those areas are big components of limiting shoulder mobility. So if you build consistency to these just 4 exercises, your shoulder can do a lot of good. Frequency-wise, anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week at these with spaced out days to recover, you could probably feel and get a lot of results if you give it some time. You gotta also keep in mind, your shoulder issues didn't happen overnight. We tend to do a couple exercises, we feel a little bit good, then it's back to square one, and we're, oh, they don't work. Well, it didn't happen overnight. It's not gonna get fixed overnight. You have to think more long-term in terms of this process. If you did find value in this video, I'd greatly appreciate it is to support the channel by subscribing down below, like this video, leave any comments down below, and I will see you on the next one.